Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing the 100 Dragon Challenge. So you're gonna have to excuse my sexy, sick, raspy voice. I'm currently getting over a sinus infection, but I'm feeling pretty good. So today we jump into Isabel's suggestion, which was making a New Year's dragon. So I was really excited to jump into this one because specifically I really love drawing Asian lung dragons and like the long serpentine twisty, curvy dragons. So I knew I wanted to use that for our New Year's dragon. Because with Chinese New Year, you see a lot of like the really cool, I don't know, I guess you'd call them puppets, or like the costumes where they have like 6 or 7 guys in it puppeteering this really big, long dragon. I absolutely love that. And I also wanted to incorporate some other aspect of New Year's, which is fireworks. I thought fireworks paired really well with the idea of a dragon, so I thought, why don't we put fireworks on this dragon? So I had a couple different ideas I was playing around in my head, and I thought about adding fireworks in some way would add like a really nice patterning to this guy, along with making his horns made out of fireworks. I thought it'd be really cute to make the banding of some of the classic looking fireworks along the horns, and then have like the little igniter fuse at the end of each tip of the horn. I thought that would look really cute and fun. And then I thought, what about on the side of him if we put the traditional like string of Chinese firecrackers, you know, the red ones that usually have the fuse that run straight down the middle. I thought putting that along the side of the body would add a really cool texture, a nice pop of color, and add just another fun element to him. And then finally, my final way of adding, well, I guess second to final way of adding fireworks was I thought it would be really cute to have kind of like sparkler spines. So it would have these spines that go down either side of the mane on the top of its body, and would have like these little firecracker sparkler things at the end of them. I thought that would be super fun and cute. So I added all these different elements to the headshot to kind of get an idea first, and then I dove in and did a rough sketch of how I wanted the overall body to be. I always like making my Asian dragons very like long, curvy, weavy, kind of, you know, pretzeling in and out of itself, things like that. So I wanted to make this guy this really long serpent dragon. So I wanted to kind of sketch out how long I wanted to make his body, where I wanted to place his arms and legs, and just overall get an idea and feel of how the fireworks on his body would end up looking. So now with the rough sketch out of the way, it was time to jump in and do the final drawing. So to give you guys a little bit of preface to this part, when I started this drawing, it was actually, I think the Tuesday or Wednesday before I was gonna release this 100 Dragons challenge. And I was just really exhausted that day. I did not sleep for the couple days leading up to it. I did get some sleep, but it wasn't good sleep. And then literally a couple days later, I come down with a fever and a sinus infection. So my body was just kind of giving up when I was trying to force myself to draw this. But moral of the story, I just kind of want to show you guys my failures as well. Every artist has their success and failures, and I think it's really important, especially when there's so many of you out there that really, you know, look up to my art, and I hear it in the comments saying that I'm a big inspiration. But I want you guys to know that not every artist performs at 110% like all the time. So I wanted to show you one of my failures. I did this guy's pose and I just kind of pushed myself through it while I was basically falling asleep at my desk. And I just didn't like it. I started at a completely different angle, and then when I flipped him, I noticed it was way too top heavy. I put everything at the top. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep, come back and do a fresh new pose, and I'm really glad I did that. So moral of the story, guys, if you're not really feeling it, or you feel that your piece isn't really doing great, don't be afraid to abandon it. I always say, try to push through it and see where it comes, but then just, know yourself and figure out, okay, this isn't working, I really don't like this where this is going at all, and just abandon it. Sometimes it's really hard because we get attached to drawings and we kind of beat up on ourselves saying, no, we need to do it, we need to finish it, which I fall into a lot, especially with this one. But I was like, I'm gonna miss my deadline for when I want to post this video. Didn't know I was gonna get sick, so I double missed the deadline. But either way, I just accepted it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make a better piece than this. So, moral of the story, guys, just, learn where your comfort zones are, learn when to stop, and don't push yourself. Don't do what I did. I need to be better about taking care of myself, but, wanted to show a failure so then you guys can see that even artists that you really like have their good days and their bad days. So now with the old sketch out of the way, we jump in to my new sketch, and God, I love this pose. First of all, I really like that it kind of looks like an infinity symbol. I have no clue how to explain the symbolism behind it. All I can think of is like, it's a new year, like rebirth, renewal. There'll be new years for infinity and forever until the universe explodes and dies. But I mean, you know what I mean. It's just infinitely, there will always be a new year and a new fresh start and a new time for everyone to change and evolve. So I was like, the unintentional infinity symbol was kind of fun to realize that it was put in there. And with that, I had fun just doing the twisting and turning of the body, and then I added a couple more bits of detail that I didn't have in my other original rough sketch. One of these bits of detail is the cuffs on the forearms and on the, I guess, ankle feet area on the back legs. So I was looking up lots of traditional Chinese firecrackers and fireworks, and I found one that the best way to describe it, it looked very similar to a bamboo pole that was chopped up, stuffed with gunpowder, and I guess painted gold. And I thought that looked really gorgeous. So I was like, what if we carried that idea of how that firework was constructed over into some detailing for this guy? And I really liked adding that extra pop of yellow to his arms. And then I also added at the end of his whiskers, I thought it would be really cute if those also had kind of a little igniter, fire crackly end, and it just added a nice little extra bit to his design. So now with the rough sketch done, I jump into the line work. I started with a 01 fine liner this time, and I think I go back in later with either a 03 or 05 for the thicker line art areas to add some definition and really show the different parts that overlay and pop in front of the rest of the figure. And this guy, I would have to say, is probably to date my most detailed 100 Dragons, because I put a lot of time and effort into him, and I lost myself in it. I just had so much fun designing this guy and drawing this guy. And I do think that Asian lung type of dragons hold a very special place in my heart. The first comic that I made called Jade Dragon, I know a couple of you have stumbled upon it because I've gotten some messages about it. The main character had the spirit of a dragon sealed within her, and it was a Asian lung style dragon. So I drew him a lot in the process of making that comic and then just art for it. And I really love that type of dragon, and they're just a lot of fun to do and just a lot of fun to mess with and do different shapes and contortions and patterns because they're just so cool and diverse. European dragons and wyverns and different types of dragons like that, they all can be just as equally diverse, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, I think I just have a very special place in my heart for these type of dragons and the cool different designs, also depending on what culture you're in, because a Chinese lung has different characteristics compared to a Japanese lung, or I think they also have them in Korean folklore, and a couple of different Asian countries have this long serpent-like dragon, but they're all designed just a little different depending on what culture you look at. So I also find that really fun and fascinating. And I know I might get called out in the comments. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's what I remember from art history and just me like loving these dragons and studying their designs. Oh, also, I had a couple people from the last episode asked me why my brush is a he. Why I said it was a he was all I can imagine is the bristles being this really amazing, like, bushy mustache on the bottom of a lip. So I don't know why. I just named my brush a he. I didn't mean to impose a gender so quickly, but I did really like the idea of a male brush with a nice bushy mustache. So there's your reason why my brush is a dude. And so with the line art done, we jump into Copic markers. So I tested a few, but I went ahead and listed all the colors for you guys. In the last poll, it seemed like you guys would like to see the different Copic colors, even if it's not like super educational. You can see which ones I do end up deciding on. I tested a bunch, and then some, like, throughout the coloring process, some of them I just picked up and I was like, oh, this looks good, and I threw it on. So here's the full list if you wanted to know which colors I used on this dragon. And let me know in the comments if you guys do like me listing the Copic colors. I know we already did the poll, but let me know if you find it helpful. And so now it's time to jump in and color. So I wanted to start off by figuring out where the different fire crackly parts were going to be, because I wanted to make sure that they stood out against any colors behind it. For example, the fire that's over the mane or different parts of the body, I wanted to make sure it had some type of white outline so it would stand out. What I've been noticing with, markers in general and coloring traditionally is they tend to bleed into each other. So later on, I make his mane blue. And so if I colored right up against the yellow of the sparkler, it would end up probably bleeding into the yellow or potentially erasing it in general. So I wanted to make sure I put those in first so then I could color around them and add a nice white outline. And besides the space dragon, I think this guy is probably one of the more colorful ones that we've done for the 100 dragons so far. I just added so many different colors to him, from blues, reds, yellows, purples, everything I could think of, even greens. I just added so many different colors because when you look up any of the floats or lights or I guess the puppets or costumes for the dragons during this time of year, you notice that they're just a rainbow of colors. There's not really a for sure one distinctive color besides red. Red and orange I've seen are very common on putting specifically with New Year's dragons. I've seen them a lot in the reds and oranges. I don't know the significance behind it, so don't quote me on this, but I'm assuming it's just because it's a bright color. I think red is probably a symbol of celebration and good luck. Just because even like the lucky envelopes that I get from friends that have like the dollar in them for lucky money, they're always red. I've never received an envelope of a different color. So, that's me speculating. I could probably do some research on what the color significance is, but at least that's what I'm thinking when it comes to creating and designing the different things for New Year. So I made this guy overall reds and oranges, and then I added pops of greens and blues. And then for his chest, I wanted it to be more like as if the shadows were in yellow, because I wanted that hair to be white. I have so many other colors going on that I wanted his chest hair to just be a little bit different. So I kept it white, and then I made the mane this really nice blue. So after the initial colors were done and I laid down all of the base colors, I wanted to make sure that we had some pop of dimension. So I went in with a second layer of some of the colors, along with adding some neutral grays to really push back some different areas on the piece to make sure that you could see some dimension or some type of shading. So my neutral gray 2 didn't really do as much as I wanted it to, so I kind of bumped it up a bit and went to a 4 and a 9. I think it was a 4 and a 9. I had it listed on the Copics list. And that added a lot of good shadow and dimension, but it ended up also like really desaturating the colors. So I'm kind of wishing I did like a purple or maybe a blue or some other color that I could have mixed a little bit better. But you know, I still like how this guy looks. And I added a little bit of extra flair with a silver gel pen on the sparkler spines, just to add just a little bit extra shininess to this guy. So overall, love this guy. Happy 2019, everyone. We officially made it. We made it through 2018 into the new year. And I'm excited to see all the dragons we make in this new year, all the art we make in 2019. And I cannot wait to see your guys' interpretation of this guy and our future dragons. So let's jump into last week's entry for the Christmas dragon. So you guys made a lot of amazing dragons, including other holidays. And if you submitted a New Year's dragon, don't worry, I'll include it in the next week's dragon, since I did say it was any holiday. But anyway, first off, Alyssa Hardy, I think your dragon is super adorable, and I like that you can see the reindeer aspects built into this dragon, and I love the reins, how it has the little lights going up and down it, super cute. And Shay the artist, I love your little sculpture, super cute little guy, and I applaud you for making a sculpture of a Christmas dragon. I like that you can see the tree ornaments in its wings as well. Both of you guys did amazing. Thank you so much for entering, and everyone who made a dragon, you guys did awesome. I loved seeing such diversity in the Christmas dragons. We had some epic ones, we had some cute ones, and just overall, it was really fun to see your Christmas/holiday dragons. So if you guys would like to enter into our next KM100 Dragons, make sure to post on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag KM100 Dragons. Make sure to do that because I've been getting some private messages and I don't always check those. So post publicly on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag KM100 Dragons, and I cannot wait to see your guys' New Year's Dragons. So thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by and checking out this video, and I will see you all next week for another 100 Dragons. Bye, everybody.